Yo ho ho! So today I'm going to be showing you the books that I got for my birthday. I turned 25 on the 12th of January and have been patiently waiting for everything to arrive in the post. So I can finally do this haul now, and this is going to be like an OG Orgy's Devilship book haul because it's just absolutely 100% my taste. There's nothing in here that I just got because I felt like it's something I should read or to read just to impress others. It's just like my taste 100%. So if you want to know what kind of books I'm into reading, then you should keep watching. So the first book I got is The Room by Hubert Selby Jr. Now he is one of my favourite authors. He wrote Requiem for a Dream, which almost destroyed me while I read it. He has a really unique writing style. He doesn't use quotation marks when the characters are speaking to each other, but this book is actually just about a man who is alone in a prison cell, like left alone with his thoughts. So it's going to be extremely intense. So I don't really know what the writing style for this is going to be like, but nonetheless, I'm really looking forward to getting into it. I don't know if looking forward is the correct term to use when reading a Hubert Selby Jr. book, but we'll see. Then I got Confessions of an English Opium Eater by Thomas de Quincey. This is just a classic that I've wanted to read for a really long time. It's one of the first books about opium/heroin, and you know me, I'm into some heroin books. It's an autobiography by the author with his experience on opium and the highs and lows of being a drug addict in the, I want to say, 1700s. I'll let you know what I think of this, but I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. Then I got The 120 Days of Sodom by Marcus de Sade. Again, another book that I've wanted to read for such a long time. I was very into like the video nasties a couple of years ago and watching banned films. There's a film adaptation of this and I always wanted to watch it, but I just never got around to it. Then when I found out it was actually a book, I was like, okay, I'll read the book first. And look at this splendid cover. It's somebody's bottom with an inverted crucifix. It's just like superb cover design there from Penguin. It's about 4 excessively rich men who throw these orgies at a castle, and they basically have like 36 slaves, love slaves, I don't even know, mainly consisting of teenage boys and girls. And it's basically a book on abuse and torture and all those kind of horrible things that I'm fascinated about reading. It's going to be a really horrible, intense read, but again, my kind of book. Then I got Ariel by Sylvia Plath. This is a poetry collection that I read about 2 years ago, and it was very impactful on my life when I read it, and I just wanted to have my own copy of it because a lot of it really resonated with me. I think as like being like a woman in your early 20s, mid-20s in my case now, Sylvia Plath's writing just really resonates with me, especially if you have suffered with mental illness. I also have a love-hate relationship with this collection purely because it's like I love it. I absolutely adore it. But I also kind of hate it in the sense of like that I'm jealous that, it's kind of like, oh, I wish I could write like that. I wish I was that talented. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful poetry collection. It's one of those books that I think every woman in her 20s should read. Next, I got 1984 by George Orwell in this beautiful, beautiful cover. It's just so gorgeous. I keep wanting to say War and Peace because it says War is Peace on there, but anyway, yeah, it's a book that I'm shocked that I still haven't read. I'm going to read it next after what I'm currently reading, and I know it's going to be one of my favourite books of this year. I know it's going to be one of my all-time favourite books when I finally read it. There's no need to discuss what it's about because at this stage everyone knows what it's about, aside from me. I'm really, really looking forward to getting stuck into this one. It's just going to be awesome. And this is a really nice edition. It's kind of got a textured cover. Next, I got Dubliners by James Joyce in the beautiful Penguins Classic Deluxe Edition. My mum was very insistent that I should get this because it is sort of disgraceful to be an Irish person and to still not have read any Joyce. And I wanted to read this last year and I never got around to it. And now that I own it, I know that I will eventually read it regardless if it's this year or the next. But this is a gorgeous, stunning edition of the book. Yeah, so I think Dubliners is probably the best place to start with reading Joyce. I certainly wouldn't start by reading Ulysses or Finnegan's Wake, but I'm really, really, really excited to finally get this on the read list and to not feel ashamed of myself anymore. Then I got Girls to the Front by Sarah Marcus. This is a book on the Riot Girl movement, which was a feminist movement in the 90s. If you're familiar with bands like Bikini Kill and Sonic Youth, their members were involved in this movement, and it's just something that I've wanted to read about. I really like the Riot Girl movement, even though it kind of fell apart there at the end. And then finally, which is the book that I was waiting for 2 weeks in the post and I was convinced was lost, but finally showed up there 2 days ago, is I Dreamed I Was a Very Clean Tramp by Richard Hell. Now, Richard Hell is a figure in music who I am very interested in. Basically, he kind of invented punk rock and never got the credit for it. At least that's how the legend goes. He's been in a good few bands, but now he's just a writer. He's written for like the New York Times and like every kind of good publication there is out there. I think his biggest song was Blank Generation, and you might be familiar with it just because you might have heard it in a film. When I was reading the synopsis for this, it gave me Just Kids vibes by Patti Smith, and I'm hoping it's along the same kind of style of memoir. But yeah, memoir is one of my all-time favourite genres, and especially reading about punk rock figures in music history. So yeah, I will let you know my thoughts on this as well. So that was my birthday book haul. Let me know if you've read anything, and I will certainly let you know my thoughts on these books when I finally get around to reading them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.